Hi, this is Dodger and you're watching my show.
Three, two, one, ready, go.
I think that might be the first time I've talked at all today. So, bouncing off of that, it didn't sound too bad. Anyway, this week has been interesting to say the least. There's been some fun stuff, there's been some drama, there's been some dramatic fun stuff. Actually, for our first piece of news, because apparently it's news to everybody else and I was in it, so I'm involved, I'm part of the problem. There was an episode of Dropped Frames that was entirely manned by ladies, so it had Shannon Z. Killer as the host, and then I was on there, Casey Tron was on there, and Lal Renee was on there. And all of us were talking about being a woman in streaming, and we all came from different backgrounds, we all have very different styles, very different communities, so we decided to do sort of a discussion show. And it's caused some stuff. It's caused some really, really good conversation between people, and it's also caused some, newfound hate bashing between people, which sucks. Anyway, I just wanted to include it because a lot of people have been talking about it and I was in it and I didn't want to pretend that it didn't happen because I'm actually really proud of how it went. I would say a lot of people are treating the show as though it was intended to be a debate, and it wasn't. So for everybody who's saying this was really one-sided, if it were a debate, I would agree with you, but it was a discussion. We had no idea how all of us felt about the topics that we discussed until we were actually in the show. So it just wound up being that all of us agreed with each other, which might be kind of evident as to whether or not we showcase kind of what it's like to be a female streamer. But anyways, if you would like to watch that, feel free. I will put a link to the first part in the description. Fair warning, second part is where it gets all intense. So there's been a civilization game with 42 different civilizations, and it's bonkers. It's basically just to see who will win on a scale this massive. Everything was chosen by the users of the subreddit, and then one dude named T-Pang kind of organized the whole thing and put the event together, and I don't know how he has a computer that can run this because it seems insane to me. But he basically put together a 42 civilization civ game and was like, all right, let's just see what happens. They're all AI. None of them are controlled by anybody but the computer. And as of right now, everybody's still using spears. So it's been going on for a little bit now. And then the worst happened. So on turn 239, Japan was about to make its move, and then the game just crashed, and they haven't been able to bring it back at all. The people who love Civilization really love Civilization and have really, really enjoyed watching. And so people have been so invested, have sent him hardware, all sorts of things, trying to figure out how to make his computer as, amazing as possible so that this game can finish. But as of right now, as of the time of making this video, there's been, no resuscitating the 42 civ game. The final hope right now is that 2K might be able to fix it. So if they can send 2K the support files and be like, what went wrong, what's the bug, what broke, help, and 2K is able to fix whatever broke inside of there, then they might be able to get the game to continue. So that would be great. A lot of us saw this coming, and while it might be a little bit sad to see another subscription-based MMO just kind of ditch it, Elder Scrolls Online, man, you can play that with no subscription now. It is not free to play. I want to make that very, very clear. You have to buy the game, but then there's no subscription. So for $60 or $59.99, you can play the game and never have to worry about money again. So as a person who doesn't really play MMOs and has very recently gotten very, very, very into an MMO, Final Fantasy XIV, I've been sitting with myself and trying to figure out what exactly it is that makes me feel super okay with paying a subscription for Final Fantasy XIV, but not for any other MMO that I've played. Is it just that Final Fantasy XIV is the right kind of MMO for me? And there's plenty of other people out there where Elder Scrolls Online was the right kind of MMO for them. Maybe. But there's gotta be a reason. There is definitely a reason why we've spent years now being you know what, maybe subscription-based MMOs are just dead. And suddenly, Final Fantasy XIV has had the biggest comeback seen in years for a video game. Like, Final Fantasy XIV was awful, right? And then they were like, let's take this back to the drawing board, redid everything, pooped it back out, and now they have millions of subscribers. It's been a crazy comeback, and why is it that it's so successful when so many other MMOs have come out around the same time or later, and people are like, I'm not paying for that. For me, at least, MMOs don't really feel fun unless there's a lot going on in them, right? That's why I was so willing to come back and try WoW again, because there is a lot of activity there. There are so many people all over the place playing WoW, because WoW is still a huge thing for a lot of people. And when I got into Final Fantasy XIV, there were people everywhere, and also we like created a guild right off the bat, and or a free company, sorry. And, you know, have so many people in there, and the free company is super active. And so I always know that when I log in, there's going to be people to interact with, and there's going to be, you know, just activity and life. And I feel like so many MMOs are lacking that because a lot of people aren't really drawn to MMOs anymore. This is weird for me to say because I am a person who typically plays games by myself. I'm not a person who really likes to queue up for online matches with people I don't know. I'm not the sort of person who, when I was playing EverQuest and WoW Vanilla, I was not the sort of person who wanted to like go raiding with people because I didn't want them to judge me and stuff. And I don't know what it is, but man, the community in Final Fantasy XIV is so nice. Everything is so like open and wonderful, and you just feel so good playing it. So why is it that a game like Elder Scrolls Online, which was made by a company who has made plenty of games that have been successful, like why was their MMO such a bust that they very quickly had to just say, you know what, never mind, nobody's subscribing? It's weird. It's a weird thing to me. It's a thing that I think we could discuss and undiscuss for centuries, perhaps. Long story short, you should totally play Final Fantasy XIV because that game is great. You should go on the Genova server and you should join our free company, Crown of Thorn. I'm never mentioning it again, I promise. This is the last time in a news video that I'm gonna be like, hey, by the way, did you know we have a free company called Crown of Thorn? You should totally join. Adam Sandler's making a video game movie. It's called Pixels, and the idea of it is that we sent a thingy into space, right? That has all of this stuff about who we are and our culture and Earth and where to find us and all those things. And included in there were video games. And then aliens found the video game part and they were like, oh, good idea. And then they made video games come to life on Earth to destroy Earth. I don't understand. I've watched this trailer, I think, 2 times. And there's a war inside of my heart because when I watch it, I'm like, wow, the look of the effects in this movie are super interesting to me. Like, I like the fact that, you know, every time one of the weird video game thingies attacks a building or something, the building the rubble from the building, I guess would be the right way to say it, is all like pixels, right? Like it's almost like King Midas style, where if weird alien Pac-Man touches the thing, it turns into pixel pieces. But like, nothing about the trailer was funny, right? Adam Sandler is supposed to be making funny movies, right? So the concept of the movie, not buying it. The jokes that were included in the trailer, which typically when you make a trailer, you're like, we want people to think that this would be a very funny movie. The jokes included in the trailer, not funny. I don't know what to do. I don't know what they were hoping to achieve with this trailer because this movie looks terrible. It looks like a movie that I'm gonna go to and be like, that looked cool. Like, things about that movie looked cool, but my God, everything else was just a disaster. Maybe it's gonna wind up being a movie about friendship. Maybe it's gonna turn out that Adam Sandler was an alien the whole time, and then he's gonna turn into Pixel Adam Sandler, and then he's gonna flow off into the sky, and then the Earth is gonna get destroyed. I would love it, actually, if this movie wound up with the aliens winning. We're just like, well, we could not defeat weird giant pixel Donkey Kong and weird giant pixel Pac-Man. We just couldn't do it. Also, their spaceship looks like a spaceship from Galaga, so that kind of made me laugh, actually. Anyways, go watch the trailer. It's real bad. On March 31st, Legacy of the Void beta shall begin. It is a closed beta and this is also for StarCraft 2. I realized I didn't say that. StarCraft 2, Legacy of the Void, March 31st, closed beta. There are a lot of things that are being changed. Like things that, to somebody who doesn't watch StarCraft, they're things that are going to sound like they don't make a big difference, but they really, really do. So apparently, your worker count has now increased to 12, and they're wondering if they can actually give you even more than that. Now, the reason that this is a big deal is because that completely affects your early game choices, right? Up till right now, your early game choices have pretty much been the same. It's like, I need this many workers, I need this many minerals, and then I need to build this building. Most people have that sort of a strategy figured out up till that point really well. So now giving people more workers, and actually the other thing that has changed is you don't always start with the same amount of minerals and the same amount of just resources in general at your starting base. So there's a possibility that you're going to wind up at a base where you don't have as many minerals as you thought, and you're gonna have to take your second base earlier than you had planned. Like, all of these things are so weird to me. I get that it's intended to like mix up the game and make people start doing different choices and things. But I'm so curious to see how it's gonna change the meta. So I mean, already you're getting new units, like your scan range is being buffed, I believe, and then they're like, you know what, we'll just also give you double the starting workers. Enjoy. Double the starting workers, and we might give you more. And I don't know, maybe you don't have enough minerals to build all those buildings you planned. I don't know. Figure it out. I'm excited to watch those games. As a person who actually really, really loves watching StarCraft, I'm excited to see those games. And last but not least, Hideo Kojima has left Konami. They were giving us all sorts of weird lies about this, which I was super not okay with. Konami had their big announcement about like their staff and their plans for this year and all of these things, and Kojima was nowhere to be found. He wasn't listed at all. And everybody was like, what's going on? And Konami was like, don't worry, Kojima is still all about that Metal Gear. It's fine. And then it turned out Kojima's like, no, I'm not working on any more Metal Gear games. In fact, I'm leaving, I'm gone. It was pretty obvious that something was going on because they were like taking Kojima's name off of everything. They were taking the Kojima Productions logo off of all of their Metal Gear stuff. It was super weird. And so I don't understand why they took the time to say, everything's fine. And then basically the next day go, everything's actually not fine. We're looking for a totally new person to head up the Metal Gear thing. It sounds like the plan is that Kojima is going to be there while they're finishing this current Metal Gear game, and then he's probably going to get phased out, which is pretty sad. But it sounds like there might have been a little bit of back and forth in terms of negativity between Kojima Productions and Konami. So this might wind up being a good thing for Kojima. He might be able to do some stuff that he's wanted to do and maybe hasn't really been able to under the Konami umbrella, so we'll see. It'll be sad to see you go from the Metal Gear series, man. Anywho, that is my show. Thank you so much for watching. If you have a positive or a negative response, feel free to leave it in my comment section. And if you would like to have coffee with me, you can click wherever I put the annotation and it'll take you to my other channel. But otherwise, I hope you are having a fantastic day and a fantastic week, and I will talk to you again next time. Bye-bye! Mwah!